Listen on BBC Sounds.
I'm Ashley Storrie, you're listening to BBC Radio Scotland, and tonight we head to the movies. Do you want some hot butter on your popcorn, sir? That was hot butter with the onomatopoeic popcorn. You're listening to Ashley Storrie live from BBC Radio Scotland at Pacific Way, joined as always by sidekick Silent Paul. Hello, Silent Paul. How art thou this week?
I'm alright.
We're talking movies and we're going to the cinema because you went and seen Barbenheimer.
Well, it's a very, it seems to be, I don't know why everybody just seems to be at a fever pitch for the cinema this week.
Do you know
it's super busy.
It's super busy. Loads of people are going. And do you know what the only thing I really enjoy about it?
What's that?
It'll rile Tom Cruise. Because he was going on about how he was the saviour of cinema.
Oh, he should have.
It's demolished
to be fair,
by Barbenheimer.
His film, which came out a week earlier, that's obviously Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes.
Ridiculous, right? It's not rubbish.
Oh, I don't doubt it is. It's Tom Cruise. He's doing stuff where he's hanging off a plane and whatnot, and he's good at that. Mm-hmm. He's good at it. I get my kicks in weird places, and knowing that he'll be slightly vexed has pleased me.
That not one but two not only stole all of his thunder.
Stole his thunder. Stole his quite smug thunder.
Stole his audience.
So you went to see Oppenheimer, then you went to see Barbie.
Oppenheimer, the two big films this week seem to be Oppenheimer, the Christopher Nolan movie starring.
It's almost like they've been oversold to us, and that's why they're the two big films this week.
Do you know what? But both are great.
Both, you said that. Now, rarely here on the Ashley Storrie Show does Paul enjoy a thing. He usually comes back, even his Marvel Cinematic Universe, which he loves deeply,
I don't love
as
it deeply.
any man of his age should.
Don't love
he
it
loves
deeply.
it. It's filled with lots of things he likes, like men who are ants and men who are Thor, and then they get fat and then they get thin, and things like that happen. I don't know, I've not seen any of them, but he likes them. But even when he goes to see them, he comes back and it's like, oh, how was your Wasp Boy and the Dolphin? And he's like, rubbish, hated it, wasn't he good at all? And it's so nice to see you enthused about films because you've been down on them for quite a while. You felt that the value of cinema has been slipping, in your opinion.
Who knew that what you needed was just two fairly original stories
Right.
to make going to the pictures worthwhile?
Indeed. Now, you worked at a cinema.
I did.
What do you think is a terrible habit for the cinema? What's a bad habit in the cinema?
Everything that human beings do. Everything. Humans are scum.
Yeah.
If you work in a cinema, you see the worst traits. Like people used to come in and you'd be like, did you win the postcode lottery? I didn't believe anybody ever actually won it. But people obviously did, with the fact that they would buy extortionately priced popcorn to throw literally all of it on the floor.
I know. It's shocking. It's shocking.
No way, I don't get it. I've seen sex acts. I've had phalluses drawn on walls.
Not that. Not that on a
People
wall.
sleeping in the cinema.
Oh, I do that. That was when I was a teenager and all my friends were like, "Oh my goodness, let's go to the cinema. It'll be such a good time." I would be like that. It's like, I'm going to nap.
Drunk behind the screen at midnight.
No, I would just nap.
Right, no,
during
I've seen it the
films.
other way.
That's wild, Paul. So you think there's a lot of bad behaviour at the cinema? You've told me stuff about the cinema which has coloured me towards not wanting to go back to the cinema.
Yeah, don't touch.
But we want to hear from you. Get in touch via text 80295. Let us know if you love the movies. What's your favourite thing about going to the movies? What's your least favourite thing? Also, tell us what your favourite film is, or if you've got a film moment, something that you hold dear to you that you just love and you watch wee clips of it, like The Lift and Dirty Dancing. I'll watch that over and over again.
What bits? They're in a lift?
When he lifts her at the end of Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze lifts the woman up at the end of Dirty Dancing. I know you're pretending not to know out of badness, but I'll just keep repeating it. It's fine. We want to hear from you.
Done the pachanga, like you was told.
Should have just done the pachanga or the cha-cha slide. Get in touch via text 80295. You can also WhatsApp us. What's the WhatsApp, Paul?
08085 92 95 00.
It's it.
That is it, yeah.
That's the number. And they can email us. What's the email?
It's ashleystorieshow@bbc.co.uk.
I've got a wee message from Marcy and Vicky saying, "Morning, Ashley and Paul. Don't think I'm having much luck with this WhatsApp, so I've emailed you instead. Lol. Looking forward to this morning's hilarity."
Well, we read that from WhatsApp, so it does work.
It's working. We're seeing you, Marcy and Vicky, and I hope you're having a good time over in Australia. Now, the worst thing about when you're eating popcorn, I'm not doing it, Paul. You can do your joke.
What joke were you talking about?
When you get popcorn, that what makes the taste
Here's Marvin Gaye. You fruit that?
how
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I want to stop and thank you, baby. I want to stop and thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, it seems I'd been there before. But you're bright enough for me all of my days. With a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. Oh, yes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. It's just like sugar sometimes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Whoa, yeah. like you, baby. Oh, yes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. It's like jelly, baby. Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. Just like honey to the bee, baby. Yeah, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. Jude sent us in a video of her singing and dancing to MacArthur Park by Donna Summer, and we were having a good laugh during the song because she has an accident and knocks her camera over. It all goes terribly wrong, and she says, I know that video doesn't necessarily work on radio, but she thought I might be amused. Hi, this is me singing in my bed. This isn't me singing, but it's me in my sad bedroom lockdown disco dancing to Donna Summer's MacArthur Park, and it goes horribly wrong. Jude, it was perfect.
It's a full light show, but it was quite good.
Thank you so much. It was like a Jean-Michel Jarre show. Thank you so much for sending that to us.
Can I say that anyone else can send us their cover of MacArthur Park, them dancing to MacArthur Park, via email, ashleystorieshow@bbc.co.uk, and you've got plenty of time to do it, because I think we should front up right now that tonight's show is going to be our last show for a while.
For a while. 8 weeks-ish?
7 weeks. I think we'll be back.
Maybe a wee bit longer.
You think so?
I got another job.
We might be back.
Kidding.
No, we'll be back to Friday the 22nd of September. So quite a while.
That's a really long time.
But as you're busy,
I'm busy making a telly programme.
I'm always busy making telly programmes.
Paul's
but
always- He just gets on with it.
That's it. I just suck it
Because
up.
our jobs are super comparable, and he just gets on about it and does his work without a grumble nor a complaint. And we're so
Not sure about that.
but we're going to go away, and we've got loads of good stuff we'll be on while we're away, and you can keep emailing us if you think about stuff in those 8 weeks or 7 weeks that you want to tell us. You can email us and we'll look at them while we're away. What's the email one more time, Paul?
ashleystorieshow@bbc.co.uk.
Right, we've got messages. Jim in Netherley says, I started rewatching the excellent Band of Brothers, so I thought of a query for you both. Who links Bugsy Malone, Band of Brothers, and the film Bohemian Rhapsody? If you're struggling, then also TV's Hotel
We're not
Babylon.
struggling.
It's Dexter
Fletcher, Jim. It's got to be harder than that.
Also, I know literally nearly, if there's a child in Bugsy Malone who was even a wee bit famous when they grew up, I know about it.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys from The Bill played a policeman in Bugsy Malone, which I thought was such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's the younger guy, isn't it? The one that had the spiky hair in the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jim, if you've got more film trivia and you want to test us, send more in. That was fun, though. He did a really interesting interview where he was like, films nowadays aren't written for viewers, they're just written for the algorithm. Did you see him talk about that?
No, but I wholeheartedly believe him.
Yeah, it made me think of you because he seemed to have that same sadness about how films are made nowadays.
Yeah.
They just don't make them like they used to, Paul.
I don't think they do. I think the real trouble, and I don't always agree with Tom Cruise, other than popcorn. I like my popcorn. And the fact that I think streamers, not a fan. Streaming services, not a fan. If you make films for a streaming service, I'm not going to watch it because it'll be a waste of time. It will be rubbish. Written by an algorithm for an algorithm.
And see my flippy marshmallow brain. I'm that exact human blob that algorithm is writing for because it ticks all of my boxes. Whatever Netflix puts out, oh, is it about a girl who discovers she's pretty and then a man takes her on a date and then they go to Italy? Lovely, going to watch it in a heartbeat. Oh, is it a film about an old woman who goes to Scotland and then she meets a prince and she falls in love? Loved it, watched it 3 times.
Because this is now that those films had their place. They were on like Hallmark or on like Christmas movie channels.
Terrible films have started to take over like a virus.
Yeah, like all big films now are starting to become that.
Yeah, I know, and I feel bad because it's fun when you just enjoy it as a niche thing, but when it starts ruining other people's fun, that's a shame.
It's bad, yeah.
Jen Nelly also says, I can't live with the guilt. Last week you were very kind about James passing his driving test. Paul suggested that I could have a beer and not have to drive. Well, I've never learned to drive and I never corrected the comment. The shame, says Jim.
All the time he's been talking about drives here. I was driving James to this. It was never you.
Jacqueline was driving and you were in the motor.
Jim, it's never too late to learn.
Oh, Jim, don't learn now. It's far too late to learn. I think that there is a cut-off age of how old you're allowed to learn how to drive.
No, there's not.
Yeah, no, my parents told me there definitely was.
They've also told you a lot of things that aren't true.
I thought like once you hit 25, that was it. You couldn't try again.
Actually, I learned to drive at 30.
Some words are going to have to be had with mother and father. Oh, Paul. Oh,
Right.
I've got an update for you on weirdthingsaidtowaiters.com.
Oh, right, okay.
So if you've been listening for the past couple of months, I've had a lot of encounters with waiters in fancy restaurants. The first being
Crickets are
that
slapping.
croquette slaps. Then the man who says vaguely mentioned Star Trek, who I then shouted at in Klingon and tried to impress him. He did make me a free drink, but he didn't talk to me again after it. And this week, my mother took me finally to celebrate my achievements. Took me to a fancy dinner.
How fancy?
Michelin star fancy.
Right.
Like the
How many?
There is only one restaurant in Glasgow with one Michelin star, so it's one.
I didn't know it didn't necessarily have to be in Glasgow, but now
other
you've...
restaurant reviewing sites are available and other restaurants are available. Tiny dining room, like so fancy, tiny dining room, the size of like this studio. Is the dining room. Tables all packed together.
Yep.
They bring course after course of tiny little foods in interesting shapes. And fancy wines that have been paired with the tiny foods in interesting shapes. And a man comes round and tells you fun facts about the wine. So I like it because it's
I hate
interesting.
tiny foods.
I like tiny foods because I like to taste lots of things and I like textures and stuff. So we're eating, we're behaving ourselves, we're doing well. We've not dropped cutlery. I've not like pinged a lobster at somebody and I'm not shouting. The meat dish comes out, Paul. And it's already like so deep into this dinner. And they bring a bit of lamb. I'm going to say it. It wasn't great. It tasted like I don't know, it was just really hard. It was like a hard trunk of lamb that tasted like Walker's Sensations lamb crisps. Right?
But you're entitled to your opinion.
Wasn't into it. So I just was like, I'm going to leave that. And I didn't want to complain because it's fancy. And also, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my palate. Maybe it's weird. So the lady came. It's a tiny bit of lamb. I just didn't want to eat it. The lady came, the waitress, and she said, oh, did you not enjoy that? I said, I'm just not a lamb type of girl.
Very good, yep.
My mum goes, can I get this in a box? Because my dog will chew through that. The woman went, excuse me, she went, can I get that in a box? My wee dog, she'll get through. I couldn't get through that with my teeth, but my wee dog will manage it. So they went and looked for a wee box.
I think that's fair enough.
They did not let us take it home. They said no. Mum goes, if it's a problem, son, I've got a wee put bag. She pulls out one of the dog's put bags and asked to put the lamb on it, but they'd taken the plates away by then, so we never got it. But yeah, another week, another mortifying encounter with somebody in the food service industry.
No, I think you were very much in the right there.
Do you? Well, I wasn't. I told her to shush.
In terms of, I would be as embarrassed as you were,
Okay.
but...
She pulled out a poo bag, Paul, at a restaurant and asked to put
but
meat in it.
remember, that's only after they were offered the opportunity to box it up, and they steadfastly refused to do it.
They just
So
said they
now
couldn't find.
you're
They
allowed-
couldn't find a takeaway container in the whole building.
You're
They
now
said.
allowed to show them up. Because they're playing games. If you're going to play games with somebody who's is good at the games, you're going to suffer.
Anyway, it was terrible. Get in touch via text 80295. We're talking films, but we're also talking in weird you've said to a waiter because it's my last show in 2 months, and you know that I enjoy just odd encounters with people in the service industry. As somebody who worked in the service industry and had so many weird encounters the other way, I think it's always a good fun time. Paul, are you ever weird with wait staff?
No, not really.
I can imagine you feeling quite uncomfortable with anybody serving you.
In terms of how and what way, I just always try and be polite.
Yeah. Do you never ever like say anything weird or uncomfortable?
No, why
well,
would it?
lucky you. Right, have you got a segue for this? Because I know you wanted to play Dolly Parton.
Yeah, because it's Barbie.